Nico Iamaleava's ability to bounce back after an error is an aspect of his game that might be slightly falling under the radar, and it could be what separates Tennessee in close games down the road. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass. Okay, let's set the scene real quickly. It was the third possession for Tennessee in the offense. Nico threw his first of 2 interceptions on the day, but thanks to a stout ball defense, NC State was forced to settle for a field goal. Then on the next offensive drive for Nico, they're back out on the field. 2 plays later, he's attacking the deep route. He goes deep downfield on the sideline to Squirrel White for a 45-yard completion. It was his only completion of 20 or more yards on the day, and it immediately followed his interception he had on the previous drive. And you'll hear coaches say it all the time, flush the last play with short-term memory. Well, Nico exemplified that on Saturday. He did flush the last play. He kept every snap independent of the next, and you saw that with the continuation of aggressive play call. And you also saw in his body language and the way he was commanding the offense and still communicating with his teammates. Tight end Holden Stays gave us a little bit of insight into that conversation that Nico was having with his teammates on the sidelines. Again, taking accountability for what happened, but reminding them, we're going to get back out there and continuing to attack, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, it was super impressive. Just as a young leader that Nico is, he came over to us on the sideline, was like, "That's my bad," and we were all like, "Nah, bro, we got you. We got your back." So as soon as we went out there for the next drive, we knew that we were playing our game. The only success they were really having was self-inflicted wounds from us. So we just went out there and just continued to do what we were doing, and he only got better after that pick.
And we even heard from Nico in the postgame when he was asked about the elite level that Tennessee's defense played to against NC State, and he still found an opportunity to take accountability. It was in a lighthearted exchange and a lighthearted moment where he says, the only touchdown NC State had was because of him, as he says, when he threw that pick 6 later in the game. And his ability to, kind of laugh it off or make it lighthearted not only shows his maturity, but it shows the confidence he has in himself that he'll be able to right the ship after an error, but also the confidence that he has in his teammates that they'll be able to get things back on track if that does happen again later in the season. And it's key to see that he is able to flush the last play independent of the last snap. Another, bright spot that we saw from Nico is that he continues to remain patient in Josh Heupel's offense. We saw it when he decided to run it a couple of times himself and have a couple of explosive plays, such as his 31-yard rushing touchdown. We had the right guard shift over to a block on the left side. It set it up perfectly for Nico to hit the gap, and then by the time he got past the line of scrimmage, the DBs are still in man coverage and have no idea that he's running, and he's able to, untouched, go all the way into the end zone for a 31-yard touchdown run. Again, showing another aspect of his explosiveness and his athleticism and the physicality that he's able to play with, and I think his ability to adjust to the pressure that he sees, because one, it's a compliment to Dylan Sampson, as he has, I think, his 3rd consecutive 100-plus yard game on the ground, because you're going to have a lot of, run defense come at you. They had like 5 guys in the box at all times because you've got to respect what they're going to do in the run game. So Nico was under a ton of pressure a lot of the game because of that, and he was still able to find receivers downfield. A couple of times he was able to find his tight ends in really soft spots and soft coverage, and then if not, he was able to run it in himself. And I think his ability to respond to that pressure while Josh Heupel still wants to see some improvement has a lot to be encouraged by with how he was able to respond to a different type of defense than what they saw in week 1 and even what they saw against Iowa a year ago.
We can be better at points within our technique. Wasn't true misidentification. We got to be a little bit better in our fundamentals and technique at times, and that's everybody. It's running back. It's the offensive line. Our tight ends were involved in it as well. A couple times he's a little deep in the pocket too, which applies pressure to the tackles. So it's all 11 operating as one. Made that point to our offense this morning, and that's in everything that we're doing.
And I know just before that soundbite, I touched on the tight ends for just a moment. I want to go back to it real quickly because it shows the wrinkles that Tennessee has on its offense. Through 2 weeks, we've already seen a number of ways that Tennessee can defeat its opponents and defeat the defenses. Week 1, it was really kind of all pass heavy. Week 2, we saw more running and tight end action. And, Holden Stays kind of jokingly highlighted how, the defense can only guard so many, skilled players. They can only be prepared to see so much from a Josh Heupel offense. They've always been kind of a run-savvy team. We saw that specifically a year ago with Joe Milton, and a bit of a blend of it when Hendon Hooker was here. We're kind of now starting to see more of a blend with that now with Nico Iamaleava back at quarterback. But I think, again, it shows just the wrinkles that they have, the ability for Nico to remain patient in the offense so that whatever the defense is showing you, you're able to see what, where the hat is not, right? And you saw it with them getting to the tight ends and soft covers when they were in the end zone, like to Miles Kitzelman. And I think that's just something really to be encouraged by.
So as the season goes along, teams are just going to have to focus on that and realize we've got great receivers. We've obviously got a great quarterback. We've got great running backs. And then the tight end room, we're all special in our own ways. And, it's just a great thing for the offense, a great thing for our team because it just makes us better overall.
And at the top, I know I mentioned Squirrel White and the 45-yard completion that he had, but I had to ask him today too. It seems like he's always the one to make the diving catches for the wide receiver. So I just asked, how nice was it to go back out there and get an early grab? Because on Friday, when we were talking keys to the game, I suspected that they would probably try to get to him early, try to get back to those classic deep route passes with Squirrel White. They did just that, and you could tell he was quite happy to go out there and get that 45-yard grab for the offense.
It felt great. I caught the ball, and I was trying to stay up, but I just fell, and yeah, I was pumped about it.
Maybe he'll be able to stay on his feet next time, but still there's a lot to take from that Week 2 win as they shift their attention to Kent State. And as we get later in the week, we'll talk more keys to the games and how Tennessee looks to go 3-0 to start the season. We'll hear from more of the team later this week as well. So make sure you subscribe, continue to like and engage with the content. I really do appreciate it all, and I see all the messages, so I definitely appreciate all of it. So yeah, again, just make sure to subscribe because we'll be back later this week to talk more Tennessee and Kent State. But until then, I'll talk to you guys then.